I spent nearly a decade working as an investment banker, and a question I get asked the most is, what's the easiest way to earn passive income? With the cost of living skyrocketing, it's a fair question, and without hesitation, my answer is always high interest savings accounts. I just got paid nearly £500 this month for 5 minutes of work. Stick around and I'll show you exactly how I did this. Today, we're jumping straight into what they are, why we need them, and how much money you can expect to earn, and finally the best products available today that will provide you with the first step to achieving financial freedom. But before we jump into that, what is passive income? Passive income is where you keep making money without needing any day-to-day involvement. The best example of this is rental property, where a developer invests their time and effort at the beginning, and once it's done they hand it over to a management company and don't need to keep going back to it whenever there's a tenant issue. This is in contrast to active income, which is like a 9-to-5 office job where you only make money when you continue to work on a day-to-day basis. Once you stop working, so does your income. Many of you will have kept money with well-known banks and forgot about it, thinking that's the best place to keep your money. With some standard interest rates as low as 0.1% would mean you would only earn £10 per year for every 10,000 invested. When it comes to saving strategies, the problem is not how much you're saving, but rather where you are saving your money. The same 10,000 would be much better off in a high interest savings account, where in the same period at a rate of 5%, you would have earned £500 just by leaving your money in there. One of the major benefits of leaving your money in a high interest savings account, such as a cash ISA, is that your cash is fully protected to the tune of £120,000, which actually went up from £85,000 this month. This means if your bank runs into problems or goes bust, you will be fully reimbursed to the limit by the UK government, giving you the comfort from knowing that you will never lose your money in case your bank fails. It's important to note here that this amount is doubled for joint accounts and that any savings must be held with an FSCS regulated bank. Don't be tempted to save your money with financial services firms such as e-institutions that don't hold a full banking license, because cash kept with these companies are not fully protected. If you have the disposable income to save over and above the threshold, my tip is to spread your money across several regulated banks, ensuring they don't share the same banking license, and checking your deposit amount stays within the respective thresholds for each bank that you hold your money with. High interest savings accounts such as cash ISAs are not only risk-free, but they are tax-free. This means you don't pay tax on the interest you earn from money held in an ISA in the UK. You can deposit a maximum of £20,000 each year across all your ISAs, and the interest you earn from the growing account balances remain tax-free. Be sure to keep your total balances at or below the FSCS limit for each bank to maintain your deposit protection. Interest earned from ISAs remain tax-free regardless of how much you earn. In addition to your ISA allowance, you also have a personal savings allowance. This is where you can earn £1,000 tax-free from interest payments every year if you're a basic rate taxpayer, and £500 if you're a higher rate taxpayer. Remember, you don't use up your personal savings allowance by holding your money in an ISA. Beating, or at the very least reducing the impact of inflation, known as offsetting, is a final reason why we would hold our money in a high interest savings account over a traditional savings or current account. Inflation is basically the general increase of prices of the things we buy. Currently in the UK, inflation is around 3%. So if you held your money in an account which pays less than this, inflation is effectively eating away at your savings without you having spent anything. Your £1 buys you less than it did a year ago, so you should aim to put your money in an account that fights inflation by paying as close to or better over 3%. When you consider what type of high interest account that best suits your needs, you first need to evaluate what are your financial goals. If you're looking to save up for, say, something short term, such as a holiday or a new phone, and want somewhere where your money can grow monthly rather than having to wait at least a year to take out your profits that are protected from tax deductions, then easy access cash ISAs are your best option. With these accounts, you also retain the freedom of being able to access your money without the need to notify the bank in advance or have your money subject to withdrawal restrictions. Interest rates for these accounts are hovering around the 3% mark. Note that the interest rates on these accounts are variable and go up and down according to the Bank of England base rate. If you have the same financial goals but are seeking a better interest rate, then a notice cash ISA would be a good option for you. Here you get a better rate for agreeing to give the bank advance warning, known as the notice period, before you withdraw your money. This period can be anywhere between 30 all the way through to 180 days. If you wanted your money sooner, you may be unable to access it or face a reduced interest rate paid on your money. The longer the notice period generally correlates to a better rate offered. Interest rates start at around 3.5% to over 4% for longer notice periods. If you're saving for something bigger, such as a new car or small home improvement, then a fixed rate cash ISA would be a good fit for your financial goals here. You receive a better return from putting your money in these accounts, which are currently paying just over 4%, because you're required to lock in your money for at least 12 months, with interest being paid at the end of the term. If you want to withdraw your money before the end of the 12 months, you would be required to pay an early closure fee and lose the tax benefits of holding that money in an ISA. With the Bank of England base rate being a key influencing factor on the savings rates that high street and online banks offer, keep an eye out for any news that could suggest that base rate is changing in the near future, allowing you to make a more informed decision whether it's better to enter a fixed deal now or later. For longer term financial goals that say take 3 to 5 years to achieve, such as a deposit on a new home or renovation, a stocks and shares ISA, also known as an investment ISA, would offer higher growth potential compared to the previous two options when keeping your money invested for the longer term. However, with the prospect of more profitable returns comes with exposure to the volatility of the stock market, which means a possibility of losing money as well. It's important to mention here that the FSCS deposit protection scheme for these types of ISAs covers you for any cash and the value of your investments up to £85,000 in case your bank fails, but does not extend to any losses incurred due to stock market fluctuations. To summarize, the longer you are happy to keep your money with a bank and give up instant access to it, the better the interest rate you will get on your savings. Also, what may appear to be a more favourable interest rate could be offset by setup or other administrative fees for withdrawal or early termination. So it's important to check the terms and conditions carefully before depositing your money, and ideally go for a savings product that has zero maintenance fees. Also, be careful to check that what may appear a high rate offered at the beginning isn't just an introductory offer for the first year and will actually come down after the period has elapsed. It's also common to see deposit caps for the interest rate offered. For example, you may only get one rate for the first £1,000 deposited and a lower rate for anything above that level. In this case, it would be worthwhile to open multiple accounts across several banks up to the limit that maintains the best rate. I personally don't like to keep all my eggs in one basket, whether that be keeping all my money with one bank in case it fails or any one deposit account. I keep my emergency fund, usually 4 to 6 months of my living expenses, in an easy access cash ISA with no withdrawal restrictions, so I can earn interest on my money while still maintaining the benefit of being able to withdraw my money if needed. For longer term savings, money that I don't anticipate needing to access in the near future, I'm comfortable with the potential of taking losses from. In exchange with the upside of the possibility of greater returns, I have a higher risk appetite and like to keep a portion of my income in a stocks and shares ISA. My tip here would be is to choose an ISA that is fully managed, where you can either choose a ready-made portfolio or make choices of the types of markets you would like to place your money in, such as company shares that carry a greater risk but higher returns, or government bonds which carry the opposite return profile of lower risk but more consistent returns. The fund manager then makes a decision on which companies or government bonds to invest in, compared to if you directly invested, which would mean carrying out all the research and investment analysis independently. I personally would leave it to the professionals who are constantly monitoring market movements and trends on a day-to-day basis. I use a HSBC savings platform which you can access via your phone and offers exceptional customer services, and are currently paying 3% for their loyalty cash ISA if you're a Premier customer and 3.8% for fixed rate deals. However, there are more competitive rates out there from banks such as Aldermore or Investec, who pay over 4% for their fixed rate deals. In short, easy access ISAs are a great way to save in the short term while still being able to withdraw funds with no or few restrictions. And if your financial goals are longer in nature, then a fixed rate or stocks and shares ISA would be a better fit for your financial goals. But in reality, I would keep my money in a mixture of all three. If you're thinking of saving for your next property and are unsure whether a house or flat would be your best option, I've left a link to my video here where we discuss exactly that. See you there.